What up? What's going on, guys? Party Knife has returned. But first, apologies. I'm so sorry. Me no upload in whole week. And everyone like, what's going on? Where a video? I no find video here. Where a video? I go to YouTube. I go to /Party Knife, and I no see video. Where video? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. My apology. I'm so sorry, guys. But there's just been so much stuff this past week, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I needed a little bit of a break from Vermintide. As some of you might know, I've been playing a lot of CSGO recently, and partially I just think it's nothing against Vermintide. I've been playing so much Vermintide and been doing so many videos on Vermintide, and I needed a break, right? Especially with Cyberpunk 2077 coming out. There's been the new Assassin's Creed coming out. There's just been so many games that I wanted to play recently. And I don't know, that just sort of killed Vermintide for me temporarily. Relax. And so I wasn't finding myself wanting to play Vermintide because there were so many other things pulling in me. Also, this coming week, we're going to essentially, pretty much my whole apartment's going to get I wouldn't say renovation. It's gonna get redecorated, whatever you want to call it. Sort of restructuring how everything is set up. Getting a completely new desk, which is gonna be over by this wall here. It's gonna be this huge desk. So there's just been a lot of stuff, right? It's also Christmas. My parents are in Denmark. My mom and my stepdad, and just for a big number of reasons, I just hadn't got stuff done. Hadn't been feeling it. But I promise you, from at least from next week, from after this Thursday, because that's when we're doing all the restructuring. From after that, we're going to go back to a regular uploading schedule. Now, with that said, there will be a few videos between here and there, but I do apologize for the lack of videos. So, can you forgive, please? Yes, please. It's very kind of you, yes. Also, I broke my lamp. That's why the lighting is slightly weird in this video. Because like the lamp I usually use is broken. So also gonna get a new lamp, thankfully. But anyways, that's not why you're here. Enough rambling. Let's move on. There is indeed a new gameplay trailer for Darktide. And it looks amazing. But first, say hello to Bardin. That's Bardin. Oh, that's Bardin. I don't know, you can't really see him that well. I like bananas. But anyways, let's watch. So, there's a couple of things I would love to talk about in this new trailer, because there's one thing in particular that's got me really excited. There we go. There's one thing in particular that's got me really excited about this trailer. So, some of you probably already watched it, but nonetheless, let's watch. 𝒮𝔞𝔤𝔢𝔯𝔞𝔡. Oh, already look there. Like, that location just looks amazing. Now, I'm not a huge lore person, as most of you probably know. Not that I don't like the lore, just don't know a lot about the lore. So I don't know where this is, but it looks amazing. And this is the first sort of good look we have at some of the playable heroes and their classes. I assume they're going to use a similar structure to that of Vermintide. And the thing that I'm particularly excited... No, we'll let it go a little bit longer.
Master of mankind, may thy light guide us in the darkness. Burn the heretic, kill the mutant, purge the unclean. Master of mankind, grant us strength.
See, what I'm particularly excited about is that they showcased the melee combat first. What I was the most afraid of, now I had a conversation with, not with 𝒮𝔴𝔞𝔤𝔢𝔯𝒮𝔮𝔲𝔞𝔄 directly, but there was this sign up where you could talk to one of the dudes who like has a company that then sort of lays out a bunch of stuff regarding opinions and stuff for 𝒮𝔴𝔞𝔤𝔢𝔯𝒮 in order to make decisions on what do people want, right? So sort of a middleman. And in that conversation, we're asked a bunch of questions about both lore and sort of about Darktide and in relation to Vermintide. And the one thing I personally tried to stress as much as I possibly could at every turn was that melee combat could not be secondary in Darktide. Why? There are plenty of good sci-fi shooters. There's plenty. They're all over the place almost. And my biggest fear was that Darktide could potentially just another sci-fi shooter. Because there are so many sci-fi shooters. But what does Vermintide do best? Like, Vermintide has amazing ranged mechanics, don't get me wrong. But where Vermintide really shines, stands out from the pack, is its melee combat. The melee combat in Vermintide is satisfying, it's responsive, it just feels amazing, right? And my biggest fear was that in Darktide, that melee combat would be sort of this extra niche feature that you could sort of, you maybe click Q when you had a quick melee attack or something, but that it would be overshadowed by the range combat. But what this tells me, again, this is just speculation, but what this tells me is that's not the case. This tells me that melee combat, at the very least, is sort of 50-50 in like with the range combat. And that really excites me, because that's the one thing that could sort of that would have ruined Darktide for me, sort of, I think, would be if the melee combat was just this tiny feature, right? Because then the range mechanics would have to shine so incredibly much that it's almost unrealistic. And so that's what I tried to stress in that whole conversation. It's just, gotta have those core, like, gotta take the good stuff from Vermintide, which is the melee combat, and implement that. So that really excites me for Darktide. And of course, also the range. Don't get me wrong, the range also is a huge part. And just visually, it just looks great, right? I mean, it just does. Probably a boss, a monster. Oh yeah. Now, coming 2021. Oh yeah. So, all in all, I think it looks absolutely amazing. Like, I cannot wait for Darktide. I'm definitely gonna play Darktide. I'm definitely gonna make videos about Darktide. And yeah, my one fear here was sort of put to rest. Because that's really what I fear. Because there are plenty of good first-person shooters, sci-fi shooters. There's plenty of them. And like, if that was the only thing that made the game shine, I'm just afraid that it would be like any other sci-fi shooter, right? But no game has ever had as satisfying melee mechanics as Vermintide, in my opinion. And it would be a mistake, in my opinion, on their part not to implement that same level, like those same mechanics, perhaps sort of tweak them a bit if they think they could make them better, but nonetheless take those same core mechanics and implement them in Darktide and have the melee combat shine just as much as it does in Vermintide. And then of course on top of that add sort of maybe a bigger bigger focus on range, that's fine. I don't like, again, I don't mind the range combat, don't get me wrong. I was just afraid that they wouldn't implement the melee combat, which is what made me fall in love with Vermintide. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little short video. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in Darktide, and maybe we'll do some Stream Marino soon, who knows. I also have a couple of other videos in the works, so there should be, definitely should be more videos in the coming week. But not as many as usual, but again, in a week's time, roughly, we should be back to the regular uploading schedule. And as always, I love you guys, stay awesome,
Peace out.